All right, y'all. We are live and we have Henry Dales. He is the last person to have a full blown debate with Charlie Kirk. And this is him right here.
Is that Mormonism or the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints is more historically accurate than Protestantism. Prove me wrong.
Well, you're more aggressive than I would be. First of all, I love Mormons. I've said that forever.
So, everybody watching, is the audio better now? Because we had to end the stream and come back on. So, everybody watching, let me know, is the audio better? Come on, y'all, before we get started. All right, nobody's saying it's bad, so I guess it's better. Y'all say something real quick.
Hello.
Hello.
Thanks for having me. Appreciate it.
Okay. All right. Cool. All right, so it's better. Okay, so play the intro again, and then we'll go from there. Now we good.
Everybody hit the like button. 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 If you got something to say, drop it in the comments. Don't be acting afraid. What? Everybody hit the like button. Everybody hit the like button. If you got something to say, drop it in the comment. Don't be acting afraid. Drop your city in the chat. Let me know you at. Drop your city in the chat. Let me know you at. Drop your city in the chat. Let me know you at. Drop your city. Wet. Drop your city in the chat. What? Drop your city. What? Drop your city in the chat. Drop your city in the chat. What? Everybody.
All right. Somebody asked me, what happened to the intro is a must. What happened to the new weekly remix? Y'all said y'all like this song so much. Well, I was just like, I'll stay with this song. But if y'all want a weekly remix, I will do a weekly remix. But y'all was just like, nah, I like the last song. So I was like, all right, I'll stay with this one. So I'll work on a song that will beat that song and we'll go from there. But yeah, I was doing weekly remixes, but y'all wanted this song. Okay. So we are here with Henry Dales and, of course, Ali FBI, and shout out to Chris in the background. So the first thing I want to ask you, Henry, where we were starting off at, what did you see before the Charlie Kirk, assassination? Was it anything that was going on with the people on stage or anything weird? I'm sure you probably have been asked that before. Did you see anything that was strange?
No, primary. Well, not. The only thing that was strange was just I didn't realize there would be such low security, and I didn't realize that they would set Charlie up in such a vulnerable position, surrounded by a bunch of buildings. And I already kind of felt iffy about that leading up, but I was like, surely they've had this place screened. Surely they have something like drones are going. And then come to find out after the whole event transpired, none of that was done. And I was like, this could have, and I talked to the Congressman Mike Kennedy. He's shortly after, and he asked because he wanted to know my ideas, basically, or my opinions on if what I would have done or what other people should have done in regards to making it more safe and stuff like that, especially for such a big advocate for free speech and someone who has a lot of animosity towards him from other people. And I was like, dude, honestly, easily, at least bare minimum, we should have had some drones or something. And that's for like any moving forward event where there's a big political activist or something like that. Like there needs to be that type of coverage and stuff like that if you're going to have an outside event.
Yeah.
Definitely. Did you see any? I know I'd heard some other students speaking that they saw a drone. Did you actually see anything yourself with your own eyes?
No,
No.
no,
Okay.
because I was there and I was, like I said, I already felt funny about it because like obviously the whole Butler, Pennsylvania thing happened, and
Mhm.
so I figured that they would have at least had something going, and I even kind of scanned maybe it was probably 20 minutes before Charlie even showed up. I kind of just scanned the roofs too because I was kind of just a little bit curious on like, all right, do they have anyone like security or anyone on the roofs and stuff like that? So I was already kind of looking, and there wasn't. So I was like, this is kind of shady, especially because leading up to it, that old kook of a guy, old man was kind of going around while they were trying to set up everything and was just
Right.
like trying to like bash on Charlie and like talking to all these conservatives that were there that would listen to him and just
Mm.
kind of just saying Charlie was a terrible person and all this stuff. And I was like, okay, whatever, like you crazy old man, whatever. And I didn't think anything of it then, but just it was really strange after everything transpired that he did what he did almost immediately after. You know what I mean?
Mm.
Okay. And when everything happened and everybody got on the ground, from my vantage point, me not being there, it seemed like everybody was actors. It was almost like everybody knew there was no panicking. People just, and then they
Yeah.
got behind a car. Like nobody just, like, I would just assume everybody just would have rushed to the parking lot and went to their car and got the hell on. They
Yeah.
didn't do that. They just was like, oh my God. They had their phones like, oh my God. And they hide behind a car instead of going to their own car. Is there, or was there some type of prepping for the crowd that says, hey, if I don't know, something went
Mhm.
wrong, is there an evacuation plan? Why did everybody, it was like 40 people hiding behind a car. It was like the dumbest thing in the world.
So one, I don't think everyone that was up by Charlie is including me.
Mm.
I don't think we registered immediately that it was a gunshot, because
Mm.
it was so like from our vantage point and from where we were, and the sounds and especially like the echoing, it sounded honestly like a firecracker went off, and I think multiple people have said that. Yeah,
Yeah.
but the people that were closer to the Losi building, that were kind of up on the balconies and stuff like that, it was a lot louder and it was a lot
Mm.
more. I guess you could say um, extreme of a sound to them.
Yeah.
So it's like once it happened, they immediately booked it, but everyone down at the bottom, we were kind of all kind of confused, and we didn't realize what happened until we
Yeah.
looked at Charlie and saw him fall off of his chair and just saw all the blood spilling out and stuff like that. But for even for me included, and for the people that were like around the amphitheater where the different levels were, uh, we really couldn't evacuate like that. There was the way they had the guardrails and everything set up. There was really only two exit ways,
Mm.
and it was out to the fountains under where Charlie came through, um, up under the bridge of the Hall of Flags, and there was two narrow spots that you could run out, and everyone
Mm.
was so crammed and trying to like if we everyone tried to run out at one time, we would have just tripped over each other. And then you
Yeah.
had the whole water thing right there. Like I didn't take the path out. I kind of jumped down into like this, I guess it was like a 12-foot like wall or drain type thing for the fountain, that went out towards the open, but every not everyone would have been able to just run out, and I think everyone was just kind of curious on like, I think we know where the sound came from, but I think everyone was kind of more concerned of, okay, is there going to be more shots?
Mm.
um so like after like maybe 20-30 seconds happened or passed by, I think I realized there wasn't going to be any more shots, so I just started telling everyone to kind of go, and we all kind of just went out towards the front. But then there's a whole bunch of controversy because there's a whole bunch of people that once they realized and everyone evacuated, some people just started hanging around the crime scene, and then people going up and throwing loot. looting the table and stuff like that, which is why the camera guy went and took the SD card out of the camera.
Okay, Allie, you got anything? What's your thought?
Whereabouts were you when? So Hunter Kozak, I believe his name is, when he was asking that question. Where were you, and did you see anything that happened prior and when it happened, and how fast did you move, and what was your feelings on that? Like, just guide me through that, because if I was up close, that close, I don't even know where I would go. Do I go
Yeah,
left? Do I go right?
well, I didn't think to go anywhere. I mean, we were so crammed in that little amphitheater, the people that were at least really close on those levels, there was no way of going left or right or running. You just had to either get down and wait for people to exit so that you could go, or else you're just pushing people out of the way and stuff like that. And I wasn't gonna do that. I'm not gonna sit here and push freaking college kids out of the way and just be like deuces or whatever. I was more trying to I crouched down and I was maybe about Hunter was maybe 15 feet because I wasn't able to leave the railing, like the confined space where they kind of take the rails to exit, and there was no exit. Like I immediately knew after I got done talking to Charlie that okay, well I can't even get out. There's people right here, and they are like
Okay,
pressed up against each other.
Wow.
So I turned around and I started talking to a Deseret news girl that was trying to get my information, and I just continued to watch and then to try to figure out how the heck I was going to exit later. But I was just continuing to watch the conversation, and then the whole thing transpired, and I was still maybe 15 feet away, just to his left.
were you there when the police came? Because I seen
Hmm.
video of the police saying, "Everybody go home, everybody go home, everybody go home." Um, they're supposed to interview people and get statements
They
of,
already had a whole bunch of us.
so
Yeah,
they
by
were
the
taking statements.
yeah. So the people that were just hanging around, they told to just go because first off, they probably weren't even close enough. Secondly, like the people that were even decently close, that were on like different level stages, um, with a lot of us went out towards the fountain out in the front of UVU, and they had a whole bunch of us wait for statements by a tree, and then they moved us into the adjacent building,
Okay,
past the whole. I think it's the Keller building, the business building. So they moved us all in there and they took a whole bunch of statements. There's like maybe
okay,
50
okay.
people
So
there.
they did take statements, so that's
Yeah.
good because it didn't look like they took statements. Okay,
No,
Allie.
they definitely did.
Did they get you to safety at all? Like, was there how many? I don't know how many cops were there after. Like, it should have been right away. I think there was
Oh my
cops.
gosh. There was helicopters. Like
Okay.
I feel like after we all evacuated and the six or so cops that were there, including his security team, they were all preoccupied. I think one or two stayed behind to try to compose people and keep them away from the crime scene.
Yeah.
But it took maybe 10 minutes maybe, and then that entire place was just flooded with news, cops, SWAT, helicopters flying over, just a whole bunch of stuff. Like they started locking down. They had law enforcement and stuff going around to the parking lots, taking pictures of everyone's license plate or all the vehicles that were there and stuff like that. I think that's how everyone got my freaking number, to be honest, because
Oh
my
wow.
family started getting contacted and stuff, and they're like, "Why the heck's everyone trying to like get a hold of you?" Like all these news
Yeah.
anchors. I was like, "Dad, I just saw Charlie Kirk get assassinated. I'll explain later." He goes, "All right, well I'm at work, so I'll call you later." And then he hung up. But all he cared about was that I was good. That's all he cared about. And he's
Well,
ex-military.
you know what? I'm jealous because I love Charlie Kirk. I didn't agree on some of the things, but this is
Hmm.
historic, okay? You are the last one to have a full-on debate with Charlie Kirk. That'll be noted in history. And I don't know, I'm getting goosebumps. I have goosebumps right now. How does that make you feel? And how do you feel about Charlie and his views? Those two things.
I liked Charlie with a lot of his views, just like the general conservative things, like whole immigration, economy, dealing with the whole LGBTQ like community and stuff like that. Some of the things though, when it came to like, I thought it was kind of hypocritical, and I think there needs to be a better like plan. But when it comes to immigration, like, when it, if you're trying to, and I'm in construction, right? So when a lot of these people come over with visas for construction and they expire and stuff like that, a lot of them tend to expire at the same time if they came over at the same time and stuff like that. And if you're trying to build the economy and build businesses to help the GDP growth, I would imagine that the states would have some better or some quicker way of implementing or reinstating visas or renewing visas, for those individuals, because companies they go out of business whenever some of their employees are here on a visa for work, and then all of a sudden their visas expire, they have to go back, and then you have no employees. Yeah, I mean, especially when it comes to like a trade where you need to learn it's a skill, right? So I've always had an issue with that, and I'm so for like deporting illegals and stuff like that, but I just wish there would be a better, I guess you could say, game plan for when it comes to maintaining these businesses where we know a bunch of people come and are in these trades that are from not from this country, right? So I don't know. I kind of
That's
So
wanted to press
yeah.
him on that, but
That's very fair. And how do you feel about being the last person to have that full debate and on something very, special to you?
yeah, yeah. I mean, so for the biggest thing for me was is I wanted to point out the hypocrisy with a lot of I with a lot of religion in general, but Christianity has this very big stigma of having double standards when it comes to their own faith and religion, and you know we would say we're Christians too, but I'm just talking about the mainstream understood Christian sects and all that stuff, right? But I told Charlie at the very beginning, I liked our debate. I just felt he was being a little bit disingenuous with a lot of his things when he claims he's gonna argue from objective truth and be truthful behind everything he says, but then say things that were not truthful, which is why I'm gonna make a video on it, and I'll talk about that here in a little bit. But um, I told him, I said, look, I like how the fact that you and Michael Knowles had a dialogue when it came to y'all's differences in religion. What a lot of Latter-day Saint people don't like or appreciate is whenever people like that with platforms such as yourselves talk about the Latter-day Saint Church and don't have an educated person of within the church to be there to represent or correct you when you misrepresent something. And I corrected him many times. Like, for instance, like there was one thing he said where, oh well, Oliver Cowdery and Martin Harris, they left Joseph Smith and they left the church and like denounced everything that Joseph had taught and all this stuff. I was like, no, they didn't. I was like, you're talking about being a honest person when it comes to these debates and stuff like that. I said Oliver Cowdery and Martin Harris never denounced their testimonies nor their experience of seeing the angel Moroni give Joseph Smith the plates, right, to him. And so I got the crowd really like amped up with that because he was completely misrepresenting the history behind it, and it was trying to use his fame and was trying to use his voice and stuff like that to diminish the Latter-day Saints tradition on testimonies. So I pressed him back and I was like, okay, so where are these 500 affidavits that supposedly saw Jesus resurrected? I want to see them. I said, we have 11 eyewitness testimonies, written affidavit testimonies. Show me one in the Bible. You don't have one. Sorry. And so that's the double standard, right? And I wasn't trying to be disrespectful to him. I was just trying to get him to hold his own standards and not deviate from them because a lot of people do that.
So I got a question. It has been said, whether right or wrong, that's a different
Yeah.
conversation. But it's been said that Charlie Kirk was not using his own quote unquote talking points. It was this old man named
Frank Turek.
no
Oh.
shit his mentor, the first person.
Jack Hibbs or Rob McCoy?
No, the first person that found him. Damn, I forgot his name.
Rob McCoy. Is that what you're
No,
talking?
no.
Okay,
So,
I don't know what you're referring to.
is there a
His
possibility? Will, wait, Will Montgomery. Will Montgomery.
Bill Montgomery.
Is there a possibility that, and I'm just asking from you just talking to him, did he seem like a person that was adopting an ideology in order to just like move something, or it was something that he actually believed in? Because from what you're saying is it didn't really sound like he was believing what he was saying. He was just barking out things and people was respecting it
Yeah,
because he was famous.
exactly. That's exactly what he was doing. Because, like, for instance, like my whole argument to him was that, like, Charlie, I was an atheist for 8 years, and I found a way to come and believe in religion, in Christ, and stuff like that. But I don't sit here and tell everyone that my faith is objectively true, because if that's the case, Charlie, everyone would be an evangelical Christian like you,
Mhm.
but they're not. And so his talking points were a lot of presuppositions that came from, I feel like, his one of his mentors that you mentioned, and then also Frank Turek was someone that was there, that it was his pastor that he held high reverence for. And even Frank, and I think he gets it from Frank Turek more than anyone, because Hayden Carroll debated him on his cross-examination thing that he holds at campuses, and he did the same exact thing or Charlie did the same exact thing that he does,
Yeah,
where he's presented with the question and he doesn't answer the question and he deviates from it.
yeah.
So like that's my thing. And like, for instance, he tried to use people like Josephus, who was a Roman historian back in the day, to justify the existence and the miracles of Christ. Well, historians say that Josephus never really talked about Christ, that those were probably fabrications from Christians that got a hold of his writings, that imposed Christ onto his writings.
Yeah.
And he called him a Christian. I was like, no, he's a Roman historian. So, like, when you say things like that, you're being disingenuous. And I think I don't know whether or not he was actually doing that purposefully, because when I called him out on these things, he kind of blew it off. And
Yeah.
so I don't know, but not to say that he was a bad guy. I just think he wasn't able to hold an actual coherent argument when it came to those questions I was presenting.
Or he answered a question with a question. He did
Yeah,
that a lot. He did that a lot.
yeah, he did. Well, it's because, like, when I talked to him, I think I gave him 3 points that we can talk about with the differences on why people think we're different. Well, why we're not Christian, right? That's fine. Which was, we believe in an open canon, that people don't determine that God shuts his mouth. God will determine whether or not he talks or not. We believe in modern revelation, and we believe in the difference of a Godhead. How the Godhead is I guess you could say, ontologically articulated.
Mhm.
And those were the three things I presented to him. You know what he did? What he goes, I asked him those questions, and he goes, what's the archaeological evidence for the Nephites?
I know. I watched it.
Yeah. He goes,
Yeah.
what's the archaeological evidence for the Nephites? And I told him straight up, I was like, less than 1% of Mesoamerica has been excavated and looked into, but we do have things where we do know there are ancient civilizations underneath the Amazon and underneath a whole bunch of dirt in the Americas and stuff like that. I said, we have 200 years of archaeology with the Bible, and very little to go off of to substantiate anything in the Bible. The Exodus, Sodom and Gomorrah. We recently just discovered Nazareth. And so, like there was a bunch of things where I told him, and that he talked about, like, the golden plates, how ironic that we don't have the golden plates anymore. I was like, yes, and how ironic that we have 2,000-year-old papyri from 2,000 years ago. Yet we lost the essential thing within Judaism, which is a big freaking golden box with the word of God in it and all these other things. I was like, how ironic.
Yeah.
So it's calling out the double standards is what I did, but that's really what I wanted to do, is just show that.
Yeah.
So
Well, it was a great debate. What do you think,
Mhm.
Aaron? I thought it was.
yeah. So going back to Frank Turek,
Mhm.
because we don't like Frank, right?
I don't like Frank either.
Okay.
I don't hate him, but I just don't. I don't
Yeah.
like
We
him.
don't like
Yeah.
So just listening to Frank Turek's sermons and Rob McCoy's sermons, they have a lot of like the way they stand on certain things is if you don't think this way, you are wrong.
Mm-hmm.
And you said Charlie Kirk seemed to have adopted that ideology. There's a possibility the reason why they operate like that is so they can't be wrong.
Mm-hmm.
See, and it's a problem with me when you stand up, no matter who you are, when you stand up and say this is right and this is wrong, and then somebody else turns around and says, well, actually, this is another perspective. And they don't say it's right or it's wrong. They just
Mm-hmm.
said there's another perspective. And then they
Exactly.
say, well, no, this is right. Like there's not another perspective to share. And that's the problem I have with a lot of the things that all three of them kind of shared or pushed on the other people. And it started, but to me, it's built within the structure of debating young people at colleges. You kind of like
They
have
try to.
to say this is right and you're wrong in order to spark the debate in the first place. So
Yeah.
it's probably constructed in that way in order to piss y'all off to make y'all want to debate him.
Hmm.
Does that make
Well,
sense?
you know what? Yeah, no, it definitely is. And you know what? I think it's funny because I don't think he knew what he was getting himself into when it came to me. Like,
Okay.
obviously, I studied a lot for 8 years as an atheist just to kind of combat religion. And so, like, one of the things is that he would always say this during the debate, and I'll use this later when I make my response videos to him. But he would be like, "Well, most historians would disagree, brother. You are full of yourself, man. I could." And I can quote Bart Ehrman, Paula Fredrickson, you know, like Daniel Wallace, freaking Michael Heiser. Like I can go off with scholars that would substantiate my claim. And I think it's so funny that he would probably allude to people like Wes Huff or Justin Bass who argue precisely like that, Aaron. And they claim to be historians, but most historians make videos making fun of those historians.
Right.
They call them theologians, really. But it's to me it's
Disingenuous.
intellectually dishonest.
Yeah, it's disingenuous. Like
Hmm.
allow another person to have a different perspective. That's why I see debates as fun to watch, but
Hmm.
I can't see myself trying to debate people because why can't that other person have a perspective and you have a
Hmm.
perspective? And that's the
Hmm.
problem with America and just whether it's different races, different religion. Why can't that person have that religion? Like, for example, you said you was an atheist at one point.
Hmm.
If you were to come on here and say, "Yeah, I'm an atheist now," I wouldn't be like, "Oh, get out of here." I would
Yeah.
actually inquire on that and be like, "Why and how and what brought you there?" Instead of just trying to shit on you for being an atheist or whatever. You're
Yeah.
not an atheist now, but what got you away from that mindset to this mindset, from being an atheist to what would you call yourself now?
So I mean, I'm a theist. I'm a Latter Day Saint. I would consider myself a Christian, but what really did it was the fact that I sat for a long time understanding what I knew about the materialistic observation of the world through science and everything like that. Um, and what we knew and what was theoretical. Like, for instance, when it comes to justifications of how the universe is constructed or how biology works and stuff like that. I would read things like from Fred Hoyle, who was a staunch atheist back in the day, astrophysicist, that for the longest time had the biggest contention with the Big Bang because it would be the perfect premise for a product of the universe being a product of design, is what he would say towards the end of his life. Because what his biggest thing was that uh, something doesn't come from nothing, is what he said. And for the longest time, he was a big advocate against the Big Bang because it looks it's presumed to be something that if there was some type of sentient being or something that did the cause, right? Because you can't be a scientist and believe that something was created without a cause, right? You can't defy the laws of logic. You got to be actually coherent and logically consistent. And so that's why he was so contentious against that. But even with that, like Stephen Hawking Stephen Hawking said things like, well, to justify the creation of the universe, it would be created because gravity exists, and because the gravity exists, the universe can and will create itself out of nothing. You're just inputting gravity for God when you don't know the answer for it. And
Yeah.
same thing with black energy, dark energy, or I mean, dark energy, dark matter. All these things are components within physics to put into an equation to understand the gravitational works of the universe, because without them it makes no sense. We would literally expand off into nothing. There would be
And that is
nothing
the
that holds
reason
us.
why I personally believe that there's a God,
Hmm.
because everything on this planet is meant for us to live. Like
Hmm.
the sun is specifically not too far because we'll freeze to death, and not too close because we'll burn to death. Is specifically at the right point where it keeps our body around 98 degrees.
Hmm.
So the fact that there's
Sorry.
this big ass ball of fire millions of miles away that doesn't kill us and it doesn't freeze us and it keeps our bodies at a certain temperature, that has to be God. The fact, like you said, that there's gravity, the fact that trees are the reason why we're able to breathe,
Yeah.
and there's always trees and there's always water. So
Hmm.
these things show me that these things are provided to us.
Hmm.
And no matter what it is that I'm saying, they never go away. The sun never
Yeah.
moves. Trees never just die off and don't, grow again, because nobody's growing trees.
Yeah.
Trees, they literally drop acorns or drop seeds, and then they start other trees.
Hmm.
Of course, the person can plant a tree, but that's not how trees are here. They
Hmm.
plant themselves. So the
Yeah.
world operates on its own in order to keep us in particular alive. So
Hmm.
that tells me that there's a God. And you see, I didn't use religion, I use logic, you know?
Hmm.
So that's how I look at things.
Exactly. And like one of the biggest things I used, for instance, is like I like reading like really popular atheist books and stuff like that, like and just to get their perspective. I want to see where their presuppositions begin,
Yeah.
right? So for instance, like Richard Dawkins has a book that's very popular out. It's called The God Delusion,
Mhm.
where he talks about within biology, he tries to make, like this whole concept of chemical evolution an objective fact. And I guess we could see how the components of chemical evolution can happen, but what he doesn't, or what he's unable to explain, is how it happens. Like, how do all these things for the first living cell to one come into existence? It's composed of some major categories: proteins, acids, lipids, all these things, right? But how do those form together to create a living cell naturally on its own? We've
But
never been able to explain that, and we would say it's God if that's how it happened. Um, but you can't do that. They haven't been able to recreate that.
here's the problem with that, though. And that's why I go back to God.
Hmm.
The environment has to be perfect for
Perfect. Hmm.
that cell to actually grow and flourish.
Yeah.
And how, you get what I'm saying? Like, for example, on Mars or whatever, like, is it something living on Mars that specifically is living due to the fact that Mars is whatever degrees over there?
Hmm.
So it's like, because certain organisms operate in colder climates than
Hmm.
warmer climates. So we have so much of a perfect climate for not just humans, but for every organism, whether it's amoeba or a cat, right?
Hmm.
That,
Yeah.
to a certain degree, there's something there that provided that for us. So for something to grow, there has to be something up here for the thing down here to grow. So
Hmm.
there has to be a God, due to the fact that the environment is meant for something to grow.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. And you know what the biggest thing I've heard is that like some people think the notion of some eternal sentient being is kind of ridiculous because we can't comprehend something always existing. I was like, yeah, we do. We comprehend it now in science. I was like, energy is the best example because what's the one thing fundamental property or what's the fundamental information that we have about energy? It can neither be created nor can it be destroyed.
Right. And it
It's
just
always been.
is always there.
Hmm.
Right. Like rain, as an example, you're just about energy, but rain is water and then it evaporates and goes into the sky, but it never goes anywhere. You know what I'm saying? So the thing
Yeah.
about it is, God, to a certain degree, is the same way. He's everywhere all the time. And just because you don't see him, and the thing about it is, just as humans, we say we're created in God's image. Therefore, you would assume that God is walking around talking, right? Well, there's a possibility that God is walking around talking, but he's just operating in a different dimension and he sees everything due to the fact that he's in another dimension than we are, and he can operate within his world and he can see everything. And possibly, I don't think God controls anything. I think God just maintains the world, if that makes sense. When you pray to God, I don't think God is listening to you. Like, all right, boop, there you go. I think your praying actually does something, but not what you're praying for. The act of praying kind of like cultivates,
like manifesting almost.
It cultivates your relationship with God, which puts you in a position where there's confirmation that humans actually still recognize that what I'm doing for the world. It's like I'm facilitating this show, right? And the fact that y'all are nice keeps the show going. But if y'all start getting disrespectful, I'll be like, man, I'm out of here. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
But if
No,
you
of course.
ask me for something, I'm not going to give it to you because I can't touch you, right? We can't touch each other. So I can't do it. I can't give you some money. I can't do it. I can't hand you something, right? But the fact that we're here and I'm facilitating this environment shows you that it's real. But even though we can't touch each other, if that makes any sense.
Yeah, no, that makes sense.
Allie, what are your thoughts?
Oh, I agree with both of you. I mean, I've always I was born and raised Catholic. So changed a bit and went to Christian. Just because the Catholic way is just a little bit, it was just too strict for me. So I also believe that, how did we all get created? Where did all this come from? And I have a couple atheist friends, and we do get into these, like Scientology, we get into these arguments. And I try to keep religion and politics with my friends at bay.
Why?
Because they're my friends. They're my friends. Some of us have opinions. Some of us have different religions, right? But they're my friends. But they're also my friends. So I've had arguments where she'll shut the phone off, and then I won't talk to my friend for 2 weeks. So
Why?
Because I guess I'm not on her page with.
Why is that a problem?
People tend to be
Maybe
real
for her, I
dogmatic.
don't know. It's the debate thing. It's I don't know.
That's
It's
what
the
I'm
debate
saying.
thing.
Like,
Well,
why?
it's
Go ahead, Henry.
it's the dogmatism, right? So, like for instance, the way that Charlie and Frank Turek act, right? They're no different than the people in 325 CE in the Council of Nicaea, where they lay down a belief and okay, cool, this is the winning vote. If you disagree with this, we're gonna burn you at the stake.
Yeah.
Right.
Like, you know what I mean?
Right.
Dumb.
Yeah.
So Henry, are you do you know anything about Taoism?
A little bit, not much.
You ever heard of Alan Watts?
I don't think so. Not Alan Watts, no.
Okay, so that is a person that he's not a mentor because I never met him, but through
Yeah,
social media or whatever, and his teachings or whatever. And it's not a religion, but
it's an ideology, right?
is an ideology.
Yeah.
And there's something called Mushin, which means no mind, right? So I like to operate with no mind. Allie, you'll know, you'll send me something. I'm like, what is this?
Yes.
I try to be purposely not obtuse, but purposely ignorant because I want to know what you think this is, right?
Okay.
You
I
get what
see.
I'm saying?
I
So
see what
instead of
this is.
looking at you saying that is so and so, no, I'm like, what is that? So you can explain it to me so I can.
Yeah.
I'm always getting fed somebody else's perspective so I can say clear of my own biases, if that makes sense.
Yeah. Yeah.
So what
So
Taoism does, it removes your own bias because you don't necessarily matter in the scope of life. You are just a speck of sand on a beach. And because you're a speck of sand on a beach, your job is to operate in congruency with the rest of the ecosystem instead of getting in the way of it.
yeah, it says here, it said the philosophical framework of Taoism is to be it with Tao or the way,
The way of the Tao.
fundamental with just nature and forces of the universe.
Yeah.
Mm.
That's why I say everything is here for us to live. So instead of trying to fight it, you live, operate with it. You just lay in the
You flow
water
with it.
and let the water just flow, just swim, get in the water and just not, you don't swim in the water, you lay in the water, if that makes
Mhm.
sense.
Yeah.
Because swimming in the water is you controlling something. You lay in the water and flow wherever the water goes, and you just enjoy where the water is taking you. And if you want to get out of the water, you can get out of the water. But instead of trying to fight the current, which is swimming against the current, just stay with the current and enjoy life that way. And that way, it puts you in a position where you're always uh in a state of peace because you're not fighting your own flesh.
Mm.
It kind of like, for me, that kind of sounds like Taoism really just sounds conflated with just the basic tenets of Stoicism. Just,
Can
you
you explain that?
control what you can. Stoicism?
The differences. What do you
Oh,
mean?
yeah.
Or
So, well,
similarities. What made you say that?
yeah. So for instance, Marcus Aurelius is probably one of the most fundamental Stoics that I've studied, and his whole thing is to just live a good life, just go with the flow. Like, you can't control the outcomes outside of your own being, right? So you flow with them.
Yeah.
I mean, you can't control what someone else will do. You can't control what position you're in. You just flow with whatever position you in, and you don't let it. You mitigate your emotions. You control them, and you feel them, and you move forward. And
Mhm.
so it sounds very, very similar with just like just flowing with the fundamental nature of life and in the universe. You flow with it. You can't control it. You just flow with it, and then you control your emotions while that happens.
And it's a science of flowing.
Hmm.
It's an understanding of it because it's like, just as an example, just normal contexts of life. If you can, like, water is supposed to be fairly, you can see water, but you can see through it, right? If you can see water, something's wrong with the water. If you can see the air, that means something's wrong with the air. That means there's smoke in it, right? If you can feel your belt, that means the belt is too tight. If you can feel your shoes, that means they're uncomfortable. So we're not supposed to see, hear, and feel like other people. Like, we're not supposed to see, hear, and feel. We're supposed to
Hmm.
just operate, right? But when you hear something, that usually means something's wrong. When you hear a noise, right? And the more you try to control what you see, feel, and hear, that is when stress happens. So the key to Taoism is to not see, not feel, not hear, but just be. because the seeing, the feeling, and hearing is you trying to control because you're interpreting the thing then. So the interpreting is the control because now you're like, wait, what is that? Or the interpreting is you sitting in front of Charlie Kirk and he's like, this is bad, this is good. He's trying to interpret what you're saying as good or bad. So I don't interpret, I just be, if that makes any sense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, it makes perfect. I think that's the healthiest way to go at it, to be
Yeah.
honest. Because then that's when you don't do that and you become dogma with your ideologies, whether it's political or whether it's religious.
Mhm.
That's where, you know, like he's this is kind of funny because it's kind of ironic, but when
Yeah.
Charlie says when conversation ends, violence begins, I think that's kind of a good reason why Aaron was like, you know, like, why does your friend like, you know, cut you off for 2 weeks type thing? Like
Right.
it needs to be one of those things of in business. I always say this, and I say this to my employees and my business partners. It's you got to be comfortable in uncomfortable situations
Mm.
because if you're not, then it can lead to worse things.
Yes.
Well, that's my next question for you because I'm struggling right now. I know if we're going a little bit off topic, so I hope everybody stays in the chat.
No, I
This
absolutely
is important.
love this. I just want to tell you, I want to tell the audience, I want to tell Henry, I want to tell Allie, I love this.
I do too, but I hope people stay and listen to this. Like right now, I'm struggling kind of a little bit with my daughter and with my friends regarding this whole topic with Charlie. You know, why are you talking about it? You know, the insensitive minds of the youth right now. Some of them.
Well, wait.
Yep.
That's you interpreting. Why can't she be mad that you're talking about it?
No. She can talk about like that's her opinion, right? Remember we spoke about that before?
Yeah.
That's completely her opinion. And me and her have an open debate about it.
Mhm.
And I said, I'm keeping this alive because there's so much to talk about still.
Mhm.
And then in her mind is it's done. Right? It's over and done with. And you know, we had heated discussions like I had with my friend about religion. It's the same thing, but me and my daughter have kept that open. Now I'm wondering with you, Henry, have you come across anybody, you know, talking about these subjects where I don't know, close family members, if they have different views or opinions, have they just I don't want to talk about it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, well, I have a brother who's very liberal, and he's he's free to have his opinion, but he's one of those that he'll shun you or not talk to you if you don't align with him. He's a very like you have to accept my opinions type of thing. And I'm
Right.
like, okay, dude. And which is really weird because like I've gone up to UVU and I debate still at UVU whenever I get a chance throughout the week. And I'll sit and I'll talk to some people and you know, I might have a sign. It could be interpreted wrong. Like if I say like, you know, for instance, Christians are full of double standards or something like that, people would probably get offended. All right, sit down with me and let me explain why. Kind of like I did earlier with some of the double standards, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you understand that and if you're intellectually honest, then you'll be like, yeah, all right. Does that mean that your faith is not true or that you should not believe in your faith? No, I just want you to recognize that people have double standards. Or if I have a sign that says, you know, like, hey, you know, the left seems to be a little bit more politically violent or something like that. I can have it's not, I understand it comes off as generalizing a little bit, but when you sit down and talk to me, I've talked to some people that were honestly great people that were just, you know, Democrat, liberal, kind of like a Bill Maher, right?
Okay.
Kind of more just logically inclined. but but there's others that will just like stand there and just like throw slur words and not want to talk at all and be like fascist, racist. I'm like, yes, I'm racist. That's perfect. Yeah, like I'm totally a racist, dude. Just because I have a sign that challenges your intellect a little bit, I'm
Right.
giving you the opportunity for me to hear your perspective. And you don't even want for people to hear your perspective. You're showing them the side of you where it's only going to substantiate my claim even more. And I don't think you guys want that, nor I think you guys even need that more right now specifically. And so, I mean, one of the biggest things I was talking to my dad about this yesterday was that like, did Charlie disagree with people 100%? But you know what he did is he built a platform where their voices could be heard across the world, um, very easily with a conversation with him. And they took that opportunity away from themselves by doing what they did, or by doing what the young man did to Charlie, and then a lot of the people on that side of the party substantiating it as he had it coming to him.
So
How does that make you look like any more, I guess you could say, I guess you could- peaceful or forgiving? You know what I mean?
but it's the judging, it's the interpreting, it's the left and it's the right, right? I don't believe in
I,
left or right.
I don't like to think about that either, because, and I mean, like, I understand, but if you try, it's weird because when you try to have a conversation with these people, or with some of these, like, right or left, far right, far left, whatever, these are just the terminologies that are ingrained in society right now to understand someone else's perspective.
I
Okay,
disagree.
these,
I
you
think
disagree?
it's meant to
So,
do the opposite. It's meant to confuse people. See, sometimes
okay.
specificity is confusion. Saying this is something and you don't think it is, now you're confused. If I would say this is red, you'd be like, no, it's not, it's blue, right?
Mhm.
But the thing about it is, who cares what color it is? Do you want it or not?
Yeah.
Do you see what I'm saying? So the thing about it is, this is a card game that you play. Who gives a fuck what color it is,
Yeah.
right? So the thing about it is, I think we spend a lot of time trying to judge things, interpret things as something, and then somebody else can see something as another thing than you think it is. And now, instead of just enjoying the thing or accepting the thing, you don't want to accept the thing because somebody else thinks the thing is something else. Instead of
So,
just utilizing the thing. So the
yeah,
left and the right, they're the same people. You said
they're
far left and the far right. They're just two far people that are far. It's not even far. You get what I'm saying? So because extreme is a problem, whether you're far right or far left, they're both the same issue.
Yeah.
Stop being extreme and just be yourself, because the extreme
I,
is the problem. Go ahead.
I want to get your opinion on something,
Yeah.
Aaron. So there's a study that's been run, multiple on through different multiple sources and stuff like that, where they go up to college students and they categorize them, right? Hey, are you conservative? Are you liberal? Whatever. In the, I think it's like 18 to 34 age range or whatever, they asked some people and they said, do you think political violence is sometimes necessary, never necessary, or mute? You're mute on the subject. 54% of people identified as liberal between those ages saying it was necessary, that political violence was necessary.
Mhm.
54%.
And
Wow.
huh?
54%, you said?
54% of this
I got to
study.
answer.
It's on YouGov.com. And then conservative sides were obviously the conservative sides. The people that identified as conservative said, I think like 9% or something like that said it was necessary or sometimes necessary. 54%.
So what's your question?
So my whole thing is that these people self-identify themselves as in these categories. So how do you present to someone, um, as an average, just like, everyday person, without, I guess you could say, inputting politics
So here's
on these questions? You know what I mean?
so here's my answer. There is no political violence. I think that's stupid and asinine. What the hell is political violence?
So what would you define political violence as?
Let me finish. So there's no political violence.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not even gonna say there's only violence,
Mm-hmm.
because there's good violence and bad violence.
Mm-hmm.
If somebody breaks in my house and I beat them up, that's positive violence because I'm defending my, house, right?
Mm-hmm.
Legally. But what if a squatter came into my house when I went out of town, and now they're in the house and they think it's their house, and I come in their house and they fight me. Now who's wrong? You see how
They
certain,
would technically be wrong.
but the thing about it is, if okay, there's a squatter law in certain states where
Some
you can
states.
lawfully live in somebody's house by squatting, and you have to, get somebody to take the person out, right? So if I came in my own house and beat them up legally, I would go to jail. So when you look at violence, and then when you look at somebody's interpretation of this is my house or this is my house, depending on the the context, it can go either way. So when it comes to political and then violence, these are two totally different ideas. One, what the fuck is political? I don't care about this political stuff. I don't care about religion. I think political and religion are the same things. It separates people.
They can be conflated the same way.
Exactly. So it causes people to be more divisive against another person, right? It's kind of like race, whatever, right? So the thing about it is, when you put political and violence together, now it's even more divisive, and it causes more violence by calling it political violence. Somebody shot somebody, and that's just really what it is. It's not because of their political beliefs. They just don't like the damn person. So political violence causes political violence.
Wait, what if they openly stated that it was because of their beliefs and that their beliefs were harmful?
It's not political violence. It's that
No. Take political violence out of it. So what if the individual openly say what?
It's being obtuse. Why do and it goes back to my own way of thinking.
Yeah.
Why the fuck do you care what that person believes? If certain things can kind of like overshadow or get in the way of somebody else, right? So if you're like this conversation, right?
Yeah.
What if you're an obtuse person and you start arguing with me, and your beliefs are the reason why you're arguing with me?
Yeah.
That can get in the way of what we're saying, right? Because now you're being argumentative. So all these things can get in the way of other things, but it's important for each person to understand, going back to the Taoism mindset, we don't know shit. I know nothing. I have no mind. See, my brain has the world in it. I'm not in this world. My brain has the world in it because I see the world from my own idea, perception, and belief, right? So to a certain degree, all three of us are most likely living in three separate worlds. Women think, oh my God, why don't men just do this? And men be like, yo, why don't women just do this? You get what I'm saying? So we live in different worlds together. But when you understand that we live in different worlds together, there will be no more interpretation of what somebody else is doing is wrong, or arguments or debates on what somebody else is doing. We all live in our own world, in our brain. Allow that to happen as long as we don't step on each other's toes and disrespect each other. And if we focus on, instead of political violence, respect, now there will be no problems.
Yeah, because so whenever I go to UVU and I talk to some of these people, I've had a lot of very good conversations with people that disagree with me just ideologically, right?
Yeah.
And you know what? Some of them will, they'll say that, well, I identify as this or whatever, this and that. Okay, cool. I do not care. Like that's the bottom line. So I don't care. You're still a human being. I'm still a human being. What I want to get to the bottom of is like, okay, like you said, conversation is necessary. But how can conversation happen if certain individuals don't want that to happen?
It's so rigid.
And so right. And so like
with Charlie Kirk, like, sir, why are you so goddamn rigid, bro? Like, be open-minded or not be open-minded.
100%. Yeah.
You see that, right? I didn't try to make him be open-minded, but I'm like, your operation is problematic, and it's okay to be problematic, but when you're on stage or when you're in front of students, you're actually causing other students to become like you. You're teaching them to be obtuse. Why?
I think what I liked after that whole event transpired was the fall. I think the next couple weeks was general conference for the church, the Latter-day Saint Church, and we have a general conference where we listen to the prophets, all that stuff, right? I didn't go to conference to listen to prophets this year. I went and I sat outside and I had a sign. I said, "When conversation ends, violence begins." And it was quoting Charlie Kirk, because there was a lot of protesters that were out there that were protesting against like Mormons and stuff like that, and saying, "You guys are going to hell, you guys are doing this and that." You know what? I think I had some of hold on. I think I had some of the best conversations with people that I disagreed with.
Yes.
And
Wow.
I think it was because one, I went up and I told him, I was like, "Listen,
You're
dude,
learning something.
yeah." Well, it's like, well, they understood my perspective. First off, I
Mhm.
talked to a Baptist, I talked to some evangelicals, there was this official street preachers guy that's on YouTube, and he's a little bit less, understanding when it comes to other people. But with me, he was very I guess you could say, um, honored the fact that we had the conversation that we had, because it was very fruitful. It was very understanding. Like, "Well, why
Yeah.
do you believe this?" I was like, "Okay, well, that makes sense. Well, let me tell you why I believe this, and this is why I believe this, and it's because of this history and stuff like that." And it was a good conversation. He actually messaged me on Instagram the other day saying like, "Hey, can't wait to see you next year at conference."
Yeah.
So,
Wow.
The thing about
like,
it is, see,
yeah.
here's what happened. And I want to go back to what one of y'all said about debating gives people an opportunity to be heard, right? The fact that we're talking about Charlie Kirk, get in front of some people and purposely trigger them and say, "Hey, this is that," right? But he gives people an opportunity to argue their point back to him. That
Mhm.
is allowing them to be heard. So what you just did is you allowed those other people to be heard.
Mhm.
But instead of having to be obtuse and argumentative, just say what you feel and
Mhm.
allow somebody to be heard instead of trying to make somebody think some type of way. You know what I'm saying? So and if anybody has any questions, because I know we don't kind of got off the rails, but I love this conversation anyway. Drop it in the super chat. It can be $5. It's not a big deal. Gen X Groiper says, "Henry, do you believe the official narrative? Having been there, what is your opinion on all the aspects surrounding the shooting? Let's get into it."
I knew that question was going to come out.
But they put it in a super chat, and y'all see I asked the question. But
Yeah. Yeah, so with me, I don't know. So I did a podcast episode live stream with Paramount Tactical on his YouTube channel as well, and I kind of agree with him. Like, as of right now, where the evidence points, that's where I'm leaning towards. And because, like, for instance, when Candace Owens came out with all this freaking nonsense, like, she even tried reaching out to me, her and her team, and I ended up telling them to just blow off. I couldn't stand like a lot of the things. Like, for instance, whenever she had a whole episode trying to condemn the guy that took the SD card out of the camera, like, why did he take it out of the camera so fast? Like, that's tampering with evidence. I was like, yeah. And I was kind of upset. I was like, yeah, not because there were people looting the table and going up to the table after the assassination and stuff like that, taking stuff. I would want to preserve that evidence too. And that got handed over to the agents and all
I
that stuff.
disagree.
wait, I gotta say this. I gotta say this. Allie, the video that got demonetized, just think about that video when
Okay.
what's the name brought it up and I got demonetized or whatever.
Yeah.
He did not have to take the SD cards, because think about this. If they're looting, you'll take the whole damn camera.
Yeah.
You don't
That
take
has to
the
be
SD card.
unscrewed. Has to be unscrewed,
Right.
taken out.
So think about
Yeah.
this. He took the camera down, right?
And there was 4 other ones around the table.
And he left them. So if people were looting, you just grab this camera, grab that camera, take this camera down. You don't take the SD card. You take the camera. The camera is the one that is what they're going to take to the pawn shop, not a damn SD card, right?
But-
So if he was actually trying to make sure somebody was not looting, he would have took the cameras, and on top of that, just to add to that, there was security securing that whole premise after Charlie Kirk was taken away. So you don't have to do
with a
nothing.
Not as quick as you think. The security was all tied up with the freaking old guy, and then the rest of the cops were handling all the people that ran up front that they needed to gather for testimonies. So no one went back in there until 10 minutes later when all these other cops and law enforcement came in. And like this, there's the guy named Elder TikTok who is a Mormon TikTok influencer who's caught going up to the table, throwing stuff out, and other people going up to the table and stuff like that. But my whole thing is that even if they went to grab cameras, if they grabbed cameras with the SD card in it, that evidence is still gone, whether or not they looted the cameras or not. If whether or not someone was going to do that or not. It wasn't until later where people that were still kind of hanging around, they were told to kind of scram or whatever, because some of them were trying to grab their bags. I ended up losing my bag there, and I had my keys and wallet and my truck and all that stuff. So I actually had to stay with a friend for like 3 or 4 days until I can go back and grab my stuff. But
question though, isn't tampering with evidence against the law?
Is what?
Isn't tampering with evidence against the law?
Yes, but you know who I saw give that SD card to law enforcement though? That guy.
So you saw the camera guy give the SD card to law enforcement?
They took all of us into the Keller building, and anything they gave everything over to law enforcement that showed up.
They were in the Keller building with y'all?
So everyone that they gathered for witnesses and stuff like that. I don't know if I think he was in a separate room. They had separate rooms for certain people.
So how did
there was a
wait. So how did you see him give an SD card to a police officer, and why would he give an SD card to a police officer?
I think it was a separate room. There was like one FBI agent showed up almost immediately. I think they have an office in Provo.
FBI agent.
So what?
How did you know he was an FBI agent?
I said it could have been. It could have been an FBI agent. I'm not sure.
What you said. You said you saw him give the SD card to a police officer, and then you said FBI agent.
Well, I said it could have been. So I'm not quite sure on who it was. So all I know is that when we were all taken into this building, they had it all divided up in rooms, and they had a whole bunch of people set up in the back. I was set up in the back with the majority of just the witnesses that were there rather than the team members that were there were like put in a whole separate room. And so I imagine, huh?
So how did you literally said
I walked past, because I walked past. You got to walk past. You can see these rooms, and I walked past.
How did you know he gave him an SD card
or the correct
one?
So
I don't. So
how did you know that?
Okay, so you can say I don't know that for sure.
Yeah.
But I can assume if I'm gonna apply logic, I can assume that's possibly what he did. Most congruently.
Why?
Because if he didn't, most likely, since he was caught on camera, he would be thrown in jail, and he's not in jail.
What did you see? What did you see? You seen him hand something black to an officer?
No, so I saw them all get put into a certain room. So that's the thing. So all the technical, or
the cameras were left at the tent.
Oh no, they were left. The cameras were left. I think whenever I ran out, they were left.
I'm a little confused, and the audience, I think, sees it. One, you can't take SD cards out of a camera. That's tampering with evidence. Two, if there were looters, they would have took their cameras, because a camera is more valuable to the average person than an SD card. And they're students. These are kids. They're not going to say, hey, I need that SD card so I can sell it to TMZ. They're freaking kids. They're like,
so
hats. Ooh, a camera.
And
pawn
also,
shop.
I wanted to say this, when he was on the chair,
Ali.
there was an unidentified officer in a shirt with a weapon, guarding him, taking it down, guarding him, going around and around and around.
There was a
And
guard there through the whole time.
yeah,
Yeah, so that because he did that later, right?
No,
Yeah, because
through the
so
whole.
here's my thing. Because here's my thing with
Hold on,
the
hold on,
people
hold on.
that went up to the tables.
Wait. Hold on. Because we just watched this. The video got my channel demonetized because the guy was walking around with a gun so much. So because I think that's what it was, Allie. I think he kept walking around the gun. I think that's probably what got
he
demonetized.
showed it. He actually shows it too.
Yeah, because he kept walking around. So the reason why it's so fresh on my mind because we just did this yesterday or whatever, right? Or yesterday.
Yeah.
The guy was like patrolling the area. The second Charlie Kirk got hauled off to the car. This guy with this blue shirt with his gun and a guy in the burgundy shirt was patrolling the area. So there's no reason for him to take the SD card because the first thing I thought is, why are they giving more security to the camera guy than the Charlie Kirk? Who is this guy in this blue shirt? He was not around during the show. He just came around after Charlie Kirk died.
Which video is this?
It's about a 3-hour video of
3-hour video?
Yeah, of the whole entire thing.
Wait, where? I haven't even seen this video.
Yeah,
it's okay.
I've only seen clips. I've obviously only seen clips on like
he goes
TikTok
around
and
everywhere,
stuff.
and he stays up in the courtyard, and he's filming everything. It's about I think it's about almost 2.5 hours. Yeah.
During the whole thing too, like during the event and then after.
Well, he was up on the roof. He was up on the, I don't know what part of the university it was.
Yeah, so there's
and
the
he
Keller
came
building.
down.
Yeah.
And that's
Okay.
the video when the aftermath.
My question is, why would you say, I got it right here. I'm gonna play just a little bit of it. I'm not gonna get demonetized. It's okay. But
yeah.
Okay.
Now that guy has a gun.
Oh, what the heck?
Right there.
Yeah.
So these two guys, and as you can see, the camera is still up. You see, what is the guy's name? Terrell, right? Terrell is about
Terrell
to take,
Farnsworth.
right. So Terrell is literally taking the SD cards out of the camera, and the cameras are still there. There's no reason why, because see, these two guys are guarding everything. So what the hell is Terrell doing? And why did you say? And
he's
why
also
did
standing on Charlie's chair that Charlie fell off of.
Right, but why are you saying that Terrell gave the SD card to the law enforcement if you didn't see it?
Yeah, because so here's my thing. First off, I didn't know when this whole thing occurred. I didn't see this video. I saw only videos of after on clips on TikTok and stuff like that of
But
him
why did you
at the
say
thing.
Because
This is my thing. Because this is what happened. So when we're outside and we're by the trees and stuff like that, I asked the cop. I said, "Is everyone that was like at the front and stuff like that giving testimonies?" And they said, "Yeah, they're all in there." And they're all in the Keller building. They're all getting down information, getting our phone numbers and everything, getting statements, and then they're sending us on our way. I said, including the crew members, and they were like, yes, or the people that were still there, that people that didn't go with Charlie.
They stayed here through the whole time. Remember what Ali just said? This is a 3-hour video. They didn't move. Terrell stayed. He went from the parking lot back to the parking lot to the back.
And I think that's why it got demonetized.
So that's why. That's what. So based off of what I was told. So based off of what I was told, that's why I assumed that's why he gave the cards to him. That's why I was based off of what I was told at the front.
You said, I know he gave the memory cards to the law enforcement. Why would you say that if you didn't?
Because that's what.
See that?
Yeah, I didn't see it. I'll acknowledge that I didn't see that, but that's what I was told. So
you were told by
who?
That's probably not. Yeah, that's probably not. Say, wait, what?
By who? Who told you that?
Are you allowed to say?
Say what?
Are you allowed to say or no?
I don't even know. I don't know what. I don't know if there's anything like on.
I who told you that
I don't.
Terry
I don't know. The
Farnsworth?
only
You don't
there.
know who told you?
No, I don't know who told. Like, so I don't know. I don't know the person's name. I just asked the people around.
No. Were they the feds? Were they law enforcement? That's the question. Because you said the feds came later. You said law enforcement was interviewing everybody,
So
and they
yeah.
were.
So so it was the
Listen.
yeah.
This is my question. Who told you that Terrell Farnsworth gave law enforcement the memory cards?
So they didn't tell me the name. I didn't even know the name. The guy's name was Terrell.
Told
But I
that a guy, the camera guy, gave law enforcement the memory card.
I don't know who the person's name was. That's the thing.
Who was they? What like why are they
He
telling
just
you
wants
this?
to know if it was a
Because well, here's the thing.
random.
And yeah,
Could it be
because it was a rant. It was like
was it be law enforcement? That's the question. Who was it?
so
What was their job?
someone told me it was a pedestrian told me that they said that law enforcement got the evidence from the people of TPUSA. So I took their word for it. And so whenever they said everyone was up in the Keller building giving statements and everything, that's why I automatically assumed that whoever it was, I didn't even know it was Taylor. But when the evidence came out later of the video of him, that's why I assumed that he gave the
Because
SD cards over to them.
and the reason why I'm asking you this is because you
Yeah.
were so adamant about, oh, he gave it to law enforcement, and it, you know, because we're just asking, right?
Yeah.
I'm like,
Yeah.
oh, did you see something? Who did it? And now you're like, a random ass person said, they gave.
Yeah.
What were y'all talking about?
No.
For him
Yeah.
to say-
Yeah.
What were y'all
Yeah.
talking
Well, that
about?
makes sense. Well, because so the reason when we were talking about all this stuff was because people were all conspiracy or they were all talking about like, oh, well, Charlie got hit in the chest or Charlie this, Charlie that. And I was like, no, he got shot in the neck. I was right there. And then that whole conversation transpired into all these other things. Oh, well, this is his critical condition, or oh, what evidence do we have on this old kook that they took or whatever. And within all these articulations of a group of people, and then them also talking to cops that were trying to get information from them, this is all the information I gathered. So people that said he was shot, he was in stable condition, wasn't in stable condition. I told them no, he was shot in the neck. So I took on all this information, even though some of it I knew was wrong, like the whole him getting shot in the chest. But what logically made consistent sense to me during the time was that, oh yeah, they definitely would have handed over that evidence to the cops
Why?
and stuff because they told us everyone was up in the Keller building giving statements and they were gathering all the stuff that they had.
They weren't in. Like I told you, that's a 3
Yeah.
hour.
Well, now I know that now, but like,
They
so
Farnsworth never left that tent except to go to his car because you know the cars. It was some SUVs
Yeah.
behind the tent. He went from the SUV to the because he was putting the camera equipment in there. So the thing about it is, and here's the problem. The reason why I'm asking you that
that's
because
suspicious.
we've seen who
Suspicious.
he gave the memory card to.
Yeah.
It was somebody behind the tent. It wasn't no Kelly building. It wasn't law enforcement. He gave the. I can show it to you. He gave the memory
Dude,
card
I
to
want to see it because I
somebody
haven't seen this stuff.
that.
Yeah.
Well, I don't want to play too much
Ali,
because,
now-
like I
now
said,
I
it got
know-
monetized
now-
because the guy keeps watching.
Now you know what I was saying. By the way,
Yeah.
everybody.
Now I know what
met
you're
Henry-
saying, Ali.
So,
I met Henry in
hold on.
a chat
Go ahead.
with the cameraman, not the one that took down the SD cards. His name is Andrew Fauci, if I'm saying it right. I met Henry from there, and we started chatting. And this is how we're all coming today together regarding this topic, because we wanted to interview you because we've been working hard on this.
Yeah.
We've been watching hours of footage, and we just want some truth and some answers.
Yeah.
That's all.
But
That's
you
all.
just raised my antenna when you said, "Oh, he gave the." No, he didn't, because we know who he gave the memory card to. Because the thing about it is, he was taking the camera equipment to his car, but he had the memory card in his pocket, and it was literally in his hat. He didn't even put it in his pocket; he put it in his hat.
Yeah.
And then he went like this.
Question.
Somebody else.
Yeah, so now that makes me question a lot of things that people
But
said
that's why I'm
happened.
questioning you, because
Yeah.
you said he did something else. So I'm just asking you, like, why would
Yeah,
you say
because
you didn't know?
mine's contemporary
Well,
on these other
Andrew
evidences.
Fauci said it to him, on the live stream when we were on there.
What do you
They
say?
gave
What do you say?
Andrew Fauci's the photographer of that day on the live stream where I met Henry. He said on the live stream that they gave it to the feds.
It was passed over to the feds, is what he said, right?
Yeah. He
Yeah.
did say that.
And
And I
so,
said,
like-
I don't believe that. I believe it's manipulated. And he goes, Allie, no. Remember that live stream? I don't know if you remember it. He goes,
Yeah.
"No,
Well, I was in and out of the live stream, but
yeah.
I remember. See now that makes me really really think, because if that's the case, that makes me think TPUSA is involved in it. You know what I mean?
And that's why Candace is all over this, because remember earlier it was like, how dare Candace say this? Candace is
Well,
off
here's
base.
the thing.
He just got shot. But
The
now
reason why I have a thing with Candace is because she went from he was shot from behind, and then she goes backwards and says, "Never mind, he was shot from the front." And
I don't
there's
think
like a bunch. Wait, so what? Okay, wait. What do you guys think happened? I don't know. Like I've only, like I said, I only follow what
I need more facts.
Okay, so we
has
both
his own
have
opinion,
our
yeah.
opinions. We both have our opinions, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
So I believe he was popped by an air actuated pellet discharger. You ever shot a pellet gun?
Yeah.
You ever shot something with it, like a rabbit or something like that?
A raccoon.
There you go.
Yeah.
So, because if you deadlift, you don't shot something, right? So, manly stuff, right?
Hell yeah,
So,
dude.
Exactly. So, you know what this is?
That's a canister, right? The pressure air canister.
Yeah, right. So there was air cartridge inside of something that was this size. This is a remote control, but it was something this size. And Farnsworth, the 1776 guy, because it was 3 camera guys. The guy who had a 1776 shirt on, he put an air actuated pellet discharger, which had this inside of it right here. And it was a pellet that was up here. And he put it in his shirt right here. And somebody, whoever, had a remote control to it. And then in the audience, Rick Cutler was literally going like this. Did you see this?
Yeah.
No. Did you see him do this?
Do you know who Rick Cutler is?
And then he held up his watch. Okay, that's cool. He had a brown shirt on. It's okay. So next
I'm
thing
looking at it right now, or whatever I can see.
Okay, so next thing you know, this thing in his shirt was not a mic, it was a pellet discharger, and it went pop, and that's why he went up like that. Because if he would have got shot, he would have went like he would have got hit like this. It would have like went like that. So he went like this. So that means something shot up in his throat. So next thing you know, and then the wound was so big that was not a gunshot. It was a pellet, because a pellet
Definitely something smaller.
You're saying it was like this big?
This is a cartridge. What is this big?
So
whoa. No.
Are you saying?
Don't show it. Don't show it.
Take it out.
No. It's not. It's not the thing. It's not. It's definitely not that.
How
It's
was
just
it
showing
not?
the whatever is right here.
Yeah.
I know what you're gonna say. You're gonna say like the angle's not right and stuff. It's just everything is suspicious because his shirt does pop up. I don't know.
Yeah, and air. Like his shirt popped up because air blew up under his shirt. It was an air actuated pellet discharger.
Now, what I think happened. Me and Aaron have two different, and I believe something is in his shirt because I have actual proof that he had something on the back of his shirt. I have a very good picture from a photographer. So I'm on both sides right now. I believe that back camera, because my boyfriend's a cameraman, and he said that back camera very well could have had something in it. It was right behind his head, okay, and the angle of it is perfect. It can go perfect. It's just I have a picture of it, the angle. But me and him have different views, but I still believe there was something in his shirt as well, because my dad's a hunter. First of all, it wasn't a 30-06. That would have took out the whole entire head, okay? Yeah. It's not possible. Second of all, where is the bullet? Okay? And third of all, it don't make a hole like that.
Right.
There's There's so many different.
A pellet makes a hole like that.
Yeah.
A bullet does not, because a pellet is round. A bullet is, is meant to go in the skin. But if you shot, I don't want to say that online, but if you powed squirrel, I'm sure you was able to see the big hole it made.
Yeah.
Right. It was a pellet. It's the same hole that was in Charlie Kirk's neck that was in the squirrel.
And I think they wanted, like, it's like a trickery thing. It's like they have the shirt pop up, like, and that doesn't happen in I've seen every ballistic.
Yeah.
When they have done every single one, that same exact shot, you cannot puff up the shirt like that.
It's air. His shirt puffed up because it's air. It's an air actuated pellet discharger. This air cartridge went off in his shirt, and that was where the air came from. That's why his shirt popped up like that, because this gives out 1,500 foot-pounds of pressure in seconds.
Now
that's why his shirt popped up.
There's so many different.
So I want to keep going with everything. So,
how are you doing, Henry? Are
you
you all right?
Can you guys? Yeah, no, that's just very interesting, because that makes sense with the air, with the shirt, the physics of the shirt, right?
Yeah.
And that's something that didn't make sense to me, was the physics of the movement of the shirt. Everyone tried to equate. So everyone tries to equate it to like the amount of energy that his body produces.
No,
but his shirt does like a. His shirt does like a wave almost.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
Your body does not create air.
That's so interesting.
The human body does not create.
Isn't it?
Yeah.
It's very interesting. It like, and I feel like there was something in his shirt, but I also feel like it went in the back of his head near his hairline where his ear is, and went through, and but it wasn't.
Wait, say that one more time.
I feel like it was in. I feel like the weapon was in the camera behind him. The one he took down, that whole unit, and somebody triggered it. And somebody triggered it in the crowd.
Question: how close were you to the tent when it happened and after it happened? Were you able to look over or see something?
Yeah, I was by the rail.
Nobody's seen. I'm just going to say juice, red juice. You know what that means, right? Nobody's seen red juice. Can you explain to us why there was no red juice, even though red juice was shooting like a fountain, but it never hit the ground?
Even when they carried him. Yeah.
Yeah.
There was no red juice nowhere. So right here, you can keep talking. I'm just going to show a video.
Yeah. Because I'm
down there
kind of
doing something. Okay.
My
At first, it looks like the guy.
All I saw was really it spilling out. I didn't really focus on whether or not it like hit the ground or anything like that. You know what I mean?
And when he does, he doesn't hit the ground. He doesn't hit the ground. He's on top of an equipment case.
Okay.
Just so you know. That's
but you didn't peek over anything and look at anything like, oh shit, look at that.
No, dude, because during that time I was trying to scan the rooftops whenever that happened. After I started seeing him fall down, I started looking and trying to see if I could see anything on the rooftops. And because, like I said, we were so crammed together that we would have to allow other people to leave first before any of us could even move. And I think the last thing I wanted to do was jump over that rail and get tackled by some of his security, trying to think that I was trying to do something. Yeah. So I think everyone was just trying to run out the opposite direction or out towards the front. But I didn't have to. I wasn't even able to see him get carried away because I wasn't focused on that at that time.
Okay, that makes sense. Al, you got anything?
That's so interesting, though. That makes me wonder. Like,
it is also. He wasn't on the ground. Dan Flood, when he was falling over, Dan Flood held him, or we want to say kind of guided him. And I have the actual picture.
The guy with a medical glass.
We can't show it, but they never took him off this case. Charlie's head is on top of wheels of an equipment case. They didn't even put him on flat on the ground.
And where was the trap door? Where was the trap door?
The trap doors were
to his left.
Hold on.
To his left. Yeah.
It would have been to his left. The whatever. Yeah, they would have been to his left.
Right
I don't
beside
know.
where
Somebody, wait. Could somebody
Yeah.
have went into the trap door without anybody seeing?
No.
Was it covered
No,
by anything?
No. Someone would have seen it.
So the trap door was outside of the tent, correct?
Yes, I showed you pictures of that.
Yeah.
But they could have made a new one. That's what we were talking about. There's two metal trap doors outside the tent where they mic'd him, where they have the mics and where all the camera guys are miking Charlie, right? There's two trap doors there. But who's to say underneath the table there wasn't something else there? Because they paved everything over. It's a crime scene, and we haven't even had, a week to process this.
Yeah.
That's
Or days. I think it started like 2 days later, no?
48 hours.
Yeah.
48 hours. Yeah. So do you
that was crazy. That was what was crazy to me. And go ahead.
Do you see why Candace and everybody else is up in arms about this? Because they paved over the place 48 hours. The damn camera guys stole the SD card, and it was security securing the camera guy. Security was securing the camera guy more than they were securing Charlie Kirk.
Yes. Yeah. They're giving security to the camera guy, taking the camera down. They weren't even securing Charlie Kirk.
So
this guy is. You see him? He yelling at people. That man ain't playing. He was more vigilant than the damn people. This blue shirt guy, he wasn't playing that shit. He was ready to shoot somebody.
Yeah.
who the hell was that guy? Do we know who that is?
Know. He showed up after Charlie Kirk died. He just mysteriously showed up and became this vigilant, militant person telling everybody what to do, brandishing his gun. I can't keep showing it because if he turns around, I'm gonna get demonetized.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
But do you understand, all of us, and why we're still talking about this?
Yeah, but so I think my thing would be like, I want you, Allie, send me some videos on the whole because I think everyone was calling it a mic, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
because I want
we don't know what it was.
I think it was an air actuated pellet discharger. And the reason why I'm calling it an air actuated pellet discharger is it didn't have a trigger. You see what I'm saying? A pellet gun has a trigger. A pellet gun is like this. It was just the gun part without the trigger, because the trigger had it was a remote to the trigger. So because the thing about it is, the way a pellet gun works, when you put the cartridge in there, it pops the cartridge, right? And it goes shh, and now it's ready to discharge. So all it needs is something to go this way for it to pop. Does that make sense?
So I got a question. Yeah, because here's my thing. The thing that caught everyone off guard was the pop or the crack.
Yes.
Which didn't sound like it came from Charlie's direction, but from. So what do you guys think about that?
He has a mic on.
There's a possibility that somebody was on the roof and they shot a gun, but it wasn't the person. It was meant to just say
distraction type thing.
Distraction. Well, that was my other question to you. What did you hear? What sounds did you hear? Because when I listened to it, I feel like a rifle, a 30-06, was fired off somewhere else at the same time, simultaneously.
And if y'all got any questions, drop in the super chat.
That is like perfect timing for that to happen.
We're talking about military people here. We're not talking about people that don't know what they're doing. Right?
So wait, remember.
But they're trying to make it seem like it was just an ordinary person.
But Henry, think about this. Remember, it was hand signals. Remember, it was this. Right before he got shot, Dan Flood was doing all this other stuff. So from a timing standpoint, there's a guy over here with a remote control that's ready to hit the button to pop it in his throat. And then there's a guy somewhere that He didn't even have to be on a roof. All you need to do is be somewhere else
You know
other
what
than
that
that
means? That
to
means
just
fire away.
That means
you know what
fire.
that means? Fire
Yeah.
away. Yeah.
Right. So the thing about it is, so the guy was doing this to let the person on the roof know, shoot the gun in the air, and then because everybody else was ready for, because whenever Dan Flood did this,
We never heard from him, huh?
No.
He hasn't come out,
And
but the head security guys came out and said some stuff,
Yeah.
but not Dan, huh?
Brian Harpole, which was
He's
on
lying.
Charlie's right side.
Mhm.
The
We
one
call
the
him
guy
a
in the blue.
Well, so was Dan, right?
Dan was like
Dan was behind him.
near the tent, and he was on top of a box, okay, standing. So
Yeah.
that's where Dan was. And then Brian was on Charlie's right, more on the side and by
Closer to the
traffic.
rail. Yeah, I
Yeah.
remember that. Yeah.
Yeah. And his interview with Sean Ryan, well, we can debunk all of it. All of it.
All
You
of
guys got me on a whole rabbit
did.
trail
All
now.
of it. We can debunk all of it because I'm working hours on this stuff, Henry.
Mhm.
Hours. And so has Aaron, and so has everybody in the Scooby-Doo chat. Like, we have been working flawlessly in hours.
Now I feel like I haven't been working enough on it because obviously.
Sorry about that. So
No, you're good.
this is Dan Flood right there
Yeah, I see him.
at the bottom. I just want to show you a picture of him and how close
Yeah, I
he
know
was
what he
to
looks
Charlie.
like. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, and I was expecting to hear something from him come out, but I think it's odd that the head of his security team or personnel was the only one that spoke. But I don't know if they're trying to like keep him from saying something because everyone's going after his neck right now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like obviously because everyone went after Frank Turek too for the whole.
Did you watch the
Yeah, I
Did
mean-
you watch the interview? Just want to know if you watched the interview with Brian Harpole.
I've only seen clips, not the whole video. I've
You
only
want to
seen
know what he
clips on
said?
like what?
You want to know what he said? He
What did he
said
say?
he got a text from Jeffrey Long, the chief of Utah Police, that he is asking about the roofs, if he can get access so he can get his men up there. I heard that, above us, the kids are up there, and I want to know if he's asking the chief, like, I want to get the roofs covered. You know what the chief said? I got you covered, is what he said in a text. And he showed this text on the Sean Ryan interview. And that's all he said. He goes, well, what am I supposed to do? Brian said, Chief got me covered. Your security, and that's vague. It's a very, very vague answer. If I was Brian, I'm like, excuse me, Chief, what are you talking about? Covered what? He's basically passing the buck, and I've said this on Aaron's other live. He's passing the buck to this chief now, saying, not my fault. The roofs weren't covered, not my jurisdiction. It's not my problem. He said, I got you covered. Well, I got you covered means nothing. What do you got covered?
So
right?
So Henry, I got a question though. You live in Utah, right?
Yeah. Well,
and you said you were doing these debates on a normal basis. You do these debates on a normal basis, even though, like, just on a normal basis without Charlie Kirk. Is it a thing that they do, like in that courtyard, or
no? So I just do it as an individual. So like I said, but prior to
UVU,
so what
you do it at UVU or somewhere else?
I do it in Salt Lake City. Sometimes I go to UVU. Sometimes I go to Provo. Just kind of where
the place where y'all do that.
No, I do it at the front of towards the front where they have this Wolverine statue before you enter the liberal arts building. There's like some Jehovah's Witnesses that usually sit up front. I kind of just go up there.
Was it odd for them to use that courtyard to do that show with Charlie Kirk? Do they usually do it somewhere else?
So this is what I've heard. I don't know if it's true or not. So I heard that there was a possibility that he was supposed to do it in the auditorium within the liberal arts building. I don't know if you guys have heard anything about this, but someone said that Charlie said no and that he wanted to do it outside.
Turning Point USA.
They said no. Turning Point to the library, or not the library, the auditorium.
Well, Turning Point the member, because the chief of staff, Mikey, he
Yeah.
wanted it to be outside, and Charlie was okay with it being outside because it seems like Charlie is like, I don't care, whatever y'all want to do. Y'all, I look at Charlie like, y'all are the boss. Y'all tell me where to go and I'll show up. Like, because I'm the talent. So if y'all want me over here, what y'all want me to do? Because they're planning this whole thing before Charlie got here. Because Brian Harpool said they were planning the whole thing since the 22nd of the month before. So they were already there. So Charlie just pulls up and y'all like, where y'all want me to be at? Right. So Turning Point USA planned for this whole thing to be outside, mainly so he can get whacked.
And last year, because I know Candace spoke about this because they were at UVU. She goes, I clearly remember it was inside. She said everything
it was the
auditorium.
auditorium.
Yes,
So
everything is different this
are
year.
they usually in the auditorium and not outside when y'all have these debates? Is the question.
See, I remember everything.
So
hold on. Go ahead.
So no, I'm outside, but they have tables or whatever, like because there's been debates happening on UVU about his memorial, and they're outside in the courtyard.
Okay.
When that happens, and they've covered that on the news, where all protests and all this stuff about his memorial, and they're all
debates. Do they usually have those debates inside or outside?
I don't know. I haven't. That was the first one I've ever been to.
There you go. From what I was told, it's been inside, so it's more safer.
Well, you can look up. I mean, you can clearly look up the last time Charlie was there, or Candace was there, and it was inside in the auditorium.
And another thing you might not know, a lot of the people that were running the camera stuff, except Henry Phillips, that's their first time being there. Andrew's first time. All these new people just plopped up to do an event that they've never been a part of before. A lot of new people, Henry.
And all of the old people there.
But the security has been the same, except for the camera crew. Even Andrew was the first time, I think he said.
No, the security team there has been issues with. So all of those men used to be, and I can't say the company name, you can look it up, used to be working for a different security team, group, company. Very, very well known. Okay. And in 2022, Brian and Dan wanted to leave. They didn't want to be with that company anymore. Apparently, the company said that they backstabbed them in the back, and they took their men and they made their own group called Integrity Solutions in 2023. Okay, I'm just going by timelines here. So he even says that in the interview, but I debunked Brian because no, you didn't work for Charlie in 2018. You worked for a company that worked for Charlie in 2018. So he kind of like goes vaguely around the company. He doesn't want to talk about the company.
His occupation or who hired him, who he's working for.
We took the men from the other company. I'd be mad too if I worked for that company because
you just stole employees.
Yeah, he trained. I looked at the website. I looked at everything. That guy did everything for those men. Something sketchy probably happened. Who cares? Now he has his own company. And 2023 now, Brian and Dan are the head of it.
So Henry, when you were there, did you see anything strange about the guys that had the EMT equipment? There was a rumor that the EMT guys were actors. Not actors, but they were going to school for evacuation training. Do you know anything about UVU having an evacuation training class or people being in evacuation training class or anything like that? Okay.
Yeah, because most of the time, whenever I was waiting in line, I was speaking to one of his security detail. He was actually a former UFC fighter. That's why I was talking to him, and I love UFC. His name was Alex. But no, like the most of the time I've spent talking or even observing that general area was was really to the left. I didn't even know anything from what I've heard and from what people have told me is that they didn't even have any EMT people there.
No. Which, for an event outside with over 3,000 people, 3,000 or 3,000 up, which he had, you're supposed to have fire, ambulance in the state of Utah, fire, ambulance. I know all this stuff because I do events, and my boyfriend was on the Beast Games. I know about all this stuff. Doesn't matter if it's a like a low end debate thing. He had 3,000 people there.
Mm-hmm.
Over. So you need fire, you need ambulance on standby, and police. You need all those three things. Another no-no.
Hold on, y'all. Hold on, I just found something. I didn't realize I still had it.
Okay.
I thought I erased it.
After the meeting bit, we all ran up and then came back and he was gone. Oh, hey, everybody clear out. There's someone here.
That guy right there, the EMT guy with the red thing, and then this guy walking up right here.
Yeah.
Him.
Oh, it's Connor, isn't it? Yeah.
What the heck?
Do you know these two guys? There was a rumor that they were doing all of this as they took a class and now they're about to pass a test because there was like some type of trauma training, like you're an EMT and they're like, okay, let's make something look like something happened so we can see if they're ready for this to actually happen. And they were in some type of trauma training or something. Those two.
During that whole thing, like, so they decide to make a training out of the whole event.
No,
with
they
those
took
people.
classes. They took classes and they weren't real. They were taking classes and they were taking this.
Yeah, I believe 6 months before it's online somewhere. Both of those, they're in a picture doing trauma, like for shooting and for
they're carrying a person out, but
preparing.
there's nothing wrong with a person. It's just a fake situation.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
like a drill. Like they did a drill.
I've never seen them or heard anything about them.
Well, they were there beside the SUV when they were taking Charlie to it, and the security just ignored them. They ignored them to the point of not even letting them assist. Okay, I have a problem.
Yeah, because I didn't see any of these two carrying Charlie to the SUV.
No, they did not.
They were there though.
But the reason why they have these red bags is because they are the people that's supposed to help somebody if they get hurt. That's what the red bags are for.
They have life-saving things inside that bag, and I know they do. What did Brian have in his little kit? I'm pretty sure that the EMS had way more stuff in there.
Look how much stuff is in that bag. Look, he got two of them. And they all went for nothing.
Yeah. Instead,
dude, I bet they feel so bad that they weren't able to like assist in any way.
Well, they were ignored by the security. And that makes me makes me fumed a little bit. They're there. They should be like, come here, help us. Come here.
Well, they're the ones more obligated, or not even more obligated, more certified to do stuff like that than the freaking security detail.
Yeah. At that point, I would tell the security, get out of here. I'm taking over. Somebody call somebody call 911. I would tell the security, get out of here. I have it from here. That's what I have a problem with as well. Them ignoring the EMS.
So, Henry, remember I said he handed everything off? This may be one of the videos. This isn't the video, but this is one of the videos, so I can show you right here.
One?
That's Terrell.
Terrell.
Okay.
Terrell.
He's taking the SD card out right here. And see, he's looking around like, look. This isn't the whole video. This is one of the videos that I have. So I don't know how much of it is it going to show. But the other video literally showed him hand it off. All right, Candace. Oh, shit. So that's it. I thought I had the whole. Yeah, I got the whole video. I got it. Yeah, this is all Candace after this. Oh, well, never mind.
Oh, that was the hatch, wasn't it?
Yeah, then let's see.
Okay. See, this is where I was. See that? See the. Go back to the over. I can tell you precisely where I was standing when it happened.
All right, so I'm back it up just a little bit. Remember these guys?
The whole oversight of the whole thing.
Do you know these guys? Those guys,
that
these red
guy,
shirt.
Yeah, they were volunteers to help set up the event at UVU.
Okay.
So this guy right here is an actor also. Why he was running the mic. So when you went up to the mic, he's the guy who adjusted the mic for you. Do you remember that?
No. That was the other guy. That wasn't that guy. I specifically remember. So the other guy that was right there. Go back.
Yeah, I think you're right.
And this is when they were shooing everybody away right here.
Who's this guy?
Hold on.
All right, everybody. You need to leave the area all the way up and all the way to the south or the north.
It's all grass down there, right? And so now after the shooting, students come back and they realize something's changed. They've torn up the grass. And they laid all these cool brickwork down here, such that the final event looks a little bit like this. Huh. How convenient.
You need to leave the area all the way up and all the way to the south or the north.
See what happened?
All right.
So you saying this guy?
No. Keep going.
Okay. You guys see what happened?
Yes, I saw him. What's it called? Are you recording this?
Yes, you're live right now. Well, we're recording. I don't know if we're live because of the cell service.
So,
hang on.
I was standing in probably the third. Okay. I was standing from probably the third row in the bottom. I saw I heard the shot ring out. I looked to my left, and then I looked over to my right. I saw him slump over in his chair forward. He slumped over. He had blood down his shirt, and he slumped over and he was carried off.
Oh, him. Okay.
That guy?
He's the one that was adjusting the microphone for me.
Yeah, okay. He was the one that adjusted. He does not go there. He literally was planted there.
Get off me! Get off me!
Emotions are running high right now.
So I'll show you the rest of it.
Henry, how long was the school lockdown for? Or do you know?
Friday, Saturday.
Or did they even lock it down?
It was locked down for 4 days.
Okay. So when did you get out of
right
it?
here, pause. So see where that PVC pipe is sticking out to just the bottom right corner?
No.
Just the
Oh yeah, I see it.
Yeah. That's exactly where I was standing when that happened.
Oh wow. You were right there. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
A little bit. Hold on.
So the trap door was over there.
Local, state, federal.
So you said this is where you was at right here? Where'd he go? I don't know. Maybe we lost him.
Where'd he go?
I don't know.
Oh no. Did he say anything before he left? Oh great.
No, he just said, oh, wait, stop right there. And then that's it.
Uh-oh.
Let me see. I don't know what just happened, y'all. So, what do y'all think in the chat? Chat, what do y'all think thus far? Let me see if he's
Henry, where are you,
DMing.
Henry?
Huh?
I'm gonna DM him. Did you DM him?
Well, he know if he can DM him for what?
Where'd he go?
He's the one that left. Why? He probably lost his feed or something like that. You know, I'm sure if I don't know. I'm ready to go anyway. It's 2:30. This was good, but
Yeah, this was really good.
So somebody saying Fed plant, he lost his feed.
Oh, okay.
How the heck did you see red on his shirt? It was a training. Okay. All right. So I think that was interesting conversation. Did we get the questions out that we needed?
I think so. I asked him in the beginning my most important questions, and then now and then we discussed this. I think we covered everything. I would have liked to ask him a couple more, but that's okay. Yeah.
Okay.
You know, it is what it is. We had trouble starting the stream in the first place, so.
Right. So I'm going to go back live. I'm not sure when or what time or whatever, and talk about this whole Candace situation. Because
many people don't know. Right?
Yeah, many people don't know. I agree. So, and today is Saturday, so she's not going to go live no time soon. So I don't know. We'll see. Oh yeah, I can't go live. I got my we got tour dates today and tomorrow. So
Baron just emailed me as well.
Oh.
Yeah. So I don't know. I'm just gonna email him back because it was when we were live. So
okay, shout out to Baron. All right. So Baron just emailed Allie. So
I don't know if it's a go yet. I'm just gonna
Yeah, we'll see what happens. All right, so we're going to end this live stream. Somebody said, did you ask why they have shown him on video before it started practicing his reacting? Well, that wasn't him. That was the other guy.
Yeah.
All right. So I got to start my day because I'm glad y'all reminded me because I got a whole bunch of shit to do. So I didn't even realize it was so damn late. So thank you, Allie. This was good. This was
You're welcome.
All right.
Thank you for having me, and I thought it was a great interview.
Yeah, it was. And I'm glad. I like how we were able to just hang out with him.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. And he was very honest and very down to earth.
Mm-hmm.
He spoke like very well. Like he was very articulate with everything he had. He's very educated. Yeah.
So I'm gonna let you know, and everybody in the Scooby-Doo team, I'm doing tour dates, so I'm not going to be as in, I'm still gonna be reading stuff, but I'm not just going to be active in it, and I'm not going to be doing lives probably until Tuesday. So
if Henry's listening, I really thank him for being on.
Shout out to Henry.
Yeah.
Henry, if you're watching, thank you for coming. I don't know what happened to your feed, but thank you nonetheless. Yeah. And but yeah, so everybody watching, I'm probably gonna go live probably Tuesday because I'm doing tour dates today, tomorrow, and Monday. So I'm gonna be kind of like ghost until then. Yeah. So y'all have a good rest of y'all day. And Allie, like always, thank you. I appreciate you.
I just wanted to shout out his Instagram too. It's HMD official 2025. That's what Henry's Instagram is. HMD official 2025.
Yes.
All right.
All right.
Catch you later.
All right. Have a good one.
You too.
All right. Y'all already know. Play a quick commercial and we are out of here. And thank y'all for being here. This was a very interesting conversation we had.
Meet up at a coffee shop and play this fun dating card game. We'll have fun and see if we're compatible all at the same time.
Ooh, what's the name of the game?
God damn it.
Hey, how about we meet up at a coffee shop and play this fun dating card game? We'll have fun and see if we're compatible all at the same time.
Ooh, what's the name of the game?
It's called Deeper Discussions.
I'm down.
Okay, meet you at 6.
Deeper Discussions Dating Edition. Again, these cards are good for vetting a potential boyfriend, a potential girlfriend, a potential husband, a potential wife. The texture of these cards are so soft and silky, by the way. Like
they ain't gonna get
really
wore out.
Durable.
A dating card game for introverts who have a hard time asking the much needed compatibility questions. Deeper Discussions, the card game.